Stellantis' North American downsizing, a wrench in the gears. It's a challenging period for auto workers in North America. The industry is grappling with unprecedented hurdles, and the workers are feeling the impact the most. Factories that once thrived with activity are now eerily silent, and the uncertainty is overwhelming. Especially for those employed by Stellantis, the company behind legendary brands like Jeep, Dodge and Chrysler. These brands have been pillars of American automotive excellence for decades, but even their rich histories can't protect them from the current economic turmoil. Layoffs have been rampant. The sudden and extensive nature of these job cuts has left many workers in shock, facing an uncertain future. For many, these jobs were more than just a source of income, they were a source of pride and identity. Thousands of workers from the United States to Canada and even down to Mexico are feeling the strain. The ripple effects of these layoffs are being felt far and wide, impacting not just the workers, but entire communities that rely on these factories for their livelihood. Imagine arriving at work one day, only to be told your job is gone, the shock, the disbelief, the immediate concern about how to make ends meet. It's a scenario that's becoming all too common in the automotive industry. That's the reality for over 1,100 workers at the Warren Truck Assembly Plant in Michigan. This plant has been a cornerstone of the local economy, and its closure is a devastating blow to the community. They built the Ram 1500 Classic, a truck as American as apple pie. This vehicle has been a symbol of rugged reliability and American craftsmanship, but even that wasn't enough to save their jobs. But apparently, not American enough to keep their jobs. The empty assembly lines and the silence in the plant are a stark contrast to the bustling activity that once defined this place. Up north in Canada, the Windsor assembly plant, responsible for the Dodge Charger Daytona and Chrysler Pacifica, came to a screeching halt. This plant has been a vital part of the Canadian automotive landscape, and its closure is a significant loss. Over 4,500 workers were sent home, left wondering about their next paycheck. The impact on their lives and their families is profound, and the uncertainty is overwhelming. And let's not forget about Mexico, where the Toluca assembly plant, which produces the Jeep Compass and Wagoneer S, also saw pauses in production. The workers here are facing the same grim reality, with their futures hanging in the balance. These layoffs are a significant event. They represent more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are a gut punch to the auto industry and a stark reminder of the human cost of corporate decisions. The economic impact is far-reaching, affecting not just the workers but the entire supply chain and local economies. They're a gut punch to the auto industry and a stark reminder of the human cost of corporate decisions. As we navigate these challenging times, it's crucial to remember the faces behind the numbers and the real lives affected by these sweeping changes. Here's the thing about Stellantis: they're not exactly hurting for cash. In fact, they are one of the largest automakers in the world, with a diverse portfolio of brands that includes Chrysler, Jeep and Peugeot. Their global reach and extensive market presence have allowed them to generate substantial revenue streams from various regions. Sure, their profits took a bit of a dip, dropping by a cool 48% in the first half of 2024 compared to the year before. This decline was attributed to a combination of factors including supply chain disruptions, increased production costs and fluctuating demand in key markets. But hey, who needs profits when you can hand out billions to shareholders, right? Despite the dip in profits, Stellantis decided to prioritize shareholder returns, ensuring that their investors remained satisfied and confident in the company's long-term prospects. That's right. While workers were losing their livelihoods, Stellantis was busy dishing out a whopping $2.6 billion in dividends. This move sparked outrage among employees and labor unions, who felt that the company was neglecting its workforce in favor of appeasing shareholders. And if that wasn't enough, they're also considering buying back $2.6 billion worth of their own stock. Stock buybacks are often seen as a way to boost share prices and provide additional value to investors, but they can also be controversial when a company is facing internal challenges. That's like eating your cake and then using the crumbs to buy another cake. It's a strategy that benefits those at the top, while leaving little for those who are struggling to make ends meet. Meanwhile, their ousted CEO, Carlos Tavares, walked away with a cool $25 million. His departure package raised eyebrows and added fuel to the fire as many questioned the fairness of such a hefty payout amidst the company's financial struggles. Talk about adding insult to injury. The disparity between executive compensation and worker treatment has become a focal point of criticism, highlighting the growing divide within the company. It's clear where Stellantis's priorities lie, and it ain't with the folks who actually build their cars. The ongoing tension between management and labor underscores the challenges that Stellantis faces as it navigates its financial and operational landscape. The United Auto Workers, UAW, isn't taking these layoffs lying down. In fact, they're mobilizing in a way that hasn't been seen in years, rallying their members and supporters to stand up against what they perceive as corporate injustice. They're calling out Stellantis for what they see as a blatant disregard for their workforce. The workers are not just numbers on a spreadsheet, they are the backbone of the company, and they demand to be treated with respect and dignity. UAW President Shawn Fain has been particularly vocal, accusing the company of corporate greed and putting Wall Street ahead of their own employees. His speeches have resonated with many, highlighting the growing divide between the executives and the everyday workers. The tension between the UAW and Stellantis has been brewing for a while now. It's not just about the layoffs, it's about a series of decisions that have left workers feeling undervalued and betrayed. There have been disagreements over plant closures, delays in reopening facilities, and of course, the layoffs. Each of these issues has added fuel to the fire, making the current situation even more volatile. The UAW even had the audacity to propose that Stellantis actually support the workers affected by these decisions. They suggested retraining programs, financial assistance, and other measures to help displaced workers transition. Stellantis's response? Big fat no. The company has shown little interest in these proposals, focusing instead on their bottom line and shareholder interests. They'd rather throw money at shareholders and buy back their own stock. This move has only deepened the resentment among the workers, who see it as a clear indication of where the company's priorities lie. And if the UAW doesn't like it, well, they're not afraid to lawyer up. Stellantis has a team of high-powered attorneys ready to fight any legal battles that come their way, making it clear that they won't back down easily. It's a classic tale of corporate giants versus the little guy, and it's not pretty. The outcome of this battle could set a precedent for labour relations in the industry, making it a critical moment for workers everywhere. So, how did Stellantis end up in this mess? Well, some might say they made a few strategic blunders, like, for example, betting big on expensive luxury vehicles like the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. In this economy? Come on, man! It turns out that regular folks, grappling with inflation and rising costs, weren't exactly lining up to buy gas-guzzling behemoths. Who knew? Of course, Stellantis blames it on industry-wide volatility and the slow adoption of electric vehicles. They're not wrong about those challenges, but it does feel a bit like they're trying to deflect blame. Section 5. The trade winds blow, tariffs and their ripple effects. Let's not forget about the role of trade policies and tariffs in this whole saga. Remember those tariffs on imported vehicles that the Trump administration slapped on a few years back? Yeah, those didn't exactly help things. While some products are exempt under the USMCA trade deal, the tariffs still cast a long shadow. The UAW, while supporting some trade protections, argues that Trump's approach ultimately led to job losses. They're calling for a renegotiation of the USMCA to better protect workers' rights. Section 6. Kokomo's Crisis, a microcosm of community impact. The impact of Stellantis's layoffs extends far beyond the factory floor. Take Kokomo, Indiana, for example. This town was once a bustling hub of auto manufacturing, providing good-paying jobs for generations. But when Stellantis started shutting down plants, Kokomo felt the ripple effects. Businesses closed their doors, unemployment soared, and the local economy took a nosedive. It's a stark reminder that these layoffs aren't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. They're about real people, real families, and real communities being torn apart. Section 7. The road ahead. Uncertainty and the future of American automaking. The big question now is, what's next? The future of American automaking feels as uncertain as ever. The industry is grappling with a perfect storm of challenges: supply chain disruptions, technological advancements, and shifting consumer preferences. And let's be real, the way Stellantis is handling things doesn't exactly inspire confidence. They're prioritizing short-term profits over long-term sustainability, leaving their workforce and communities in the dust. Section 8. A call for change. Prioritizing people over profits. It's time for a wake-up call. We can't keep letting corporations prioritize profits over people. We need policies that protect workers, support communities, and ensure a just transition to a more sustainable future. The auto industry is at a crossroads, and the choices we make today will have lasting consequences.